Hi everybody, this is Tafi bringing you chapters 14 and 14x of my Cerulean Crescent 100% growth LTC. Chapter 14 is a multi-seas and is the conclusion of the first half of the game. We're revisiting Anan and will complete Jake's quest and also collect on our investment of 2000 gold in chapter 7x. Bottom right isn't relevant to the primary objective, but is where Jake's quest gets resolved and has a squad of 4 bosses. Yusuf, Raylan, and Arsteel will handle this part of the map, with Mince helping put Arsteel in position to enemy phase 2 of the bosses. Arsteel will return Gambler's Folly after buffing his bulk, using the item drop from this archer. Riker and Dune will carry the Seahawk flag for this clear to go along the left path to the north, and our new unit Igo will tag along with them, though he isn't necessary. Igo's an 8-move unit with A ranks in swords, axes, and lances, and the skills Canto Plus and Weak Link, which adds the missing HP of enemies to the attack stat of allies within 2 tiles of him. This skill lets you pull some comical display damage on enemies, but we won't really need it. Having high move and access to lances makes him one of 2 candidates to accomplish a certain side objective in chapter 24. All Igo does here is chip this one enemy for Francisca to kill. Gecko will take the Gambler's Folly and Plucker's Gift for now, and shoves this guy to clear up the 4th spot in the Ellery formation. This is the first map where Ellery willingly brings out the Seahawk, and it's probably the map where it demonstrates the most usefulness as a high movement flying chip and action bot. This boss has killer weapons and a droppable autocrit that grants plus 20 skill and negates crits. Asil is once more here to multitask. On turn 1, her log will reposition Lydra's 2 extra squares to let him reach the Chukunu archer on the north side of the river. It also cantos up to help Mince on the next turn. This central boss has 2 lives. Lyndros will dispatch the first here. He then transforms into a Draco zombie for story reasons. The boss is supposed to be able to move afterwards, which would theoretically remove the need to kill the second life, but he just doesn't do that on turn 1 enemy phase. Finally, Wisp will fly up to protect Dune from the Archer. That Myrmidon had a Rondel dagger, which is why Lindros couldn't counter. Thanks to the attack boost, Lindros was able to just go for a clean one-shot on that Swordmaster. Lindros needs to dodge the Blizzard from the totem since he needs to be able to move on the next turn. The Seahawk does us a solid by baiting that totem's weakened staff. Turn 2, Mince will use the log to leapfrog forward into every formation. If we had bought a 1-3 range light magic tome that was available for sale earlier, we could have fed that boss to our steel as well. This dragon guards a secret tunnel to the north bank. And also a recruitable unit, Foxberry. Foxberry has crit plus 30 and surprise attack, which doubles her attack and hit if she's attacking an enemy next to one of her allies. Her real selling point is her PRF Chain Hook, a 1-3 range rescue staff that also refreshes her on being used. Even a knockoff rescue staff like that will still help save actual rescue staff users, mostly in part 3. Here, she'll just help boost Gecko forward, so she can kill the Southeast Swordmaster, and then grab the Wyvern Tail from the crate to the northeast. Lindros is going to be the unit seizing the top spot, which is why we needed him mobile. I let Igo grab a couple of kills here, but his EXP does not matter at all, so this was just busy work. A Seal's Log boosts its master turn 2 so she can visit that house. Because we donated 2000 gold in chapter 7x, we're rewarded here with a vulnerary and another coffee. Yosef will donate 3 pieces of food to complete Jake's quest here, with us making the previously discussed swap of the Chef's Brew for 2 of the stat boosters. Since the Draco zombie wasn't nice enough to move out of the way, we have to dispatch him with Francisca. This enemy drops his tome, and so Dune can perform a flag warp off of him. The Seahawk's next bit of utility is being able to seize the center, and then canto up so Dune can take the Killer Lance from it and use that to kill the top boss. We'll then seize the 3 remaining spots to complete Chapter 14 in 2 turns. At the end of the map, Ellery gets her story promotion to Chieftain, learning Canto Plus and going up to 8 move. Look at those beautiful 100% growth stats. Chapter 14X is our next interlude aboard our wonderful airship. We get the pay rise at the start, which promotes almost everybody who can in this game, and there isn't a level restriction on promotion outside of trainee type units. We could mass promote many of our units now, but I hold off both to make use of the improved EXP gain on some units just a little longer, and also just to save time on meaningless busy work. We will also make sure to give Murky the Warp Staff. We start by handing over the items for Hammer Helly's quest. Only the item obtained for the coffee is strictly necessary, as previously mentioned. We can also hand over Igo's documents now in exchange for a Lacerate, a 1-3 range Light Tome, and a 6-Sid Slicer, a 2 range locked Anima Tome. We actually will make use of Lacerate once. If we had managed to obtain the third document, then we would also get a Dark Magic Tome to complete the set. Here we have an event where we can grant minor stat boosts to certain groups of units. We will choose the options that give Dune the speed boost and the HP boost as the unit in our army who most appreciates every extra bit of stats we can get her. Next, we have the option of buying Pomelo a new magical cannon that does effective damage to ships for 2000 gold. We pass on this since Pomelo has long since become irrelevant, though given how much money I ended on with, I could easily have bought it. The next purchase is much more important though. The tome Marlowe offers us for 3000 gold is a B rank anima tome with no might, but it passively grants plus 8 magic and we need it for several future strategies. Dune's quest will give us the option of looting the city in chapter 17, and since we like resources, we will take it. There is a reward for abstaining, but it's not one we need either, and this makes the clear more interesting. Yvette's quest would get us the S rank axe, but we won't actually be able to fulfill it at LTC pace. Whipjack's quest will let us recruit a unit in chapter 15. We gave Murky warp so she can get Ellery to this normally inaccessible square. through the stairs puts us in this ethereal space where we can grab a couple of items. There is a shop here that sells Plucker's Gifts for 65,535 gold each, but we thankfully don't need them for any turn saves. There's also a shop that sells Brave weapons. The real reason that we burned a warp use to come here is to grab the second Seahawk flag. You've seen how good the first one is, and we certainly have plenty of applications for a second one, so it's well worth the warp use. At the end of the chapter, for handing in the mana cubes, we will get a light brand. For the uncut gems, we get a Brave Lance, and for the coffee, we get the Zansua Engsi, a magic axe that grants plus 14 magic, and is the reason why we cared about grinding up Mince's axe rank. We also get a silver bow as a bonus for doing Hammerhelly's quest at all.